You're listening to
The Real King
with Joe and Heidi King. Yeah, okay. Hi.
Hi.
Guess what it is right now? The season.
The end of summer.
It's
Fall.
back to school.
Back to school. So many parents are saying hooray.
Are they?
And so many children are
Unless they're homeschool parents.
not saying hooray. That's true.
Homeschool parents
That's
are
true.
like, dear God, help.
Actually, there's been somebody was just talking about the massive exodus out of public school into homeschooling.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
There's
Like
also
crazy how many people.
There's also Christian schools popping up.
Mm-hmm.
About time.
Yeah.
Heidi, you went to public school?
For a short period of time, no. I went until I was a sophomore. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I was thinking about this today because you were like, do you have any embarrassing school stories? And I actually don't. I really don't.
I have one.
Hold on. I was replaying. So I think the most embarrassing one would be the volleyball thing. That's probably
Which is so funny.
So we played volleyball at church yesterday, and
It's church picnic.
I was actually extremely proud of myself because I didn't suck horribly. I didn't suck as bad as I did in high school.
Valid.
Or was it junior high? It must have been junior high.
I think it was junior high.
Yeah. So I went to play volleyball in junior high and got the nickname Ducky. Okay.
Like not quack quack.
Because every single time the volleyball would come to me and it would be my turn, it was like an involuntary reaction. Mm-hmm. I would duck and cover.
Yes.
Every single time.
Do you know what's so funny? Is now hereditary.
I did tell Jasmine, I said, this is a generational curse that you're going to need to break. You're going to need to break it.
That's
Anyways,
so funny.
I went through that season, and then the next year, I got promoted to manager.
I love that. Go Bulldogs.
That coach was like, we cannot lose another game. You are the beginning of the participation trophies.
You know, maybe that's where my love for admin came in.
You know, they were probably like, you don't have that many trophies you can give out,
Yeah.
but it's easier to make trophies than make extra management positions.
Yes. But I know that you two have both probably very embarrassing things. One of you I know for sure with the track thing.
First of all, I wasn't going to tell it.
But so then the second embarrassing would have been the day that I got removed from the school system. Because my dad came in like a wrecking
that
ball.
might be really important for somebody that's like on the fence right now.
You know, before we move on fully from volleyball, there are a few things in life that are as intense as like middle school, high school volleyball players.
Oh, for sure.
They're a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When it comes to what you went through with your dad and your mom pulling you from public school, that's a huge topic because they did not have the time or the means. They didn't have a curriculum.
Correct.
Right.
But they knew in order to save your life, they had to pull you from public school. And your dad came wasn't it right before your birthday?
It was on my 16th birthday.
It was on your sweet 16.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's so crazy. It's though, you know how you have certain moments of life where you could replay it in your head as if you were right there yesterday. That moment is still like burned into my brain. I was literally in the hallway where all the lockers are, and it was my birthday. So everybody was like, happy birthday.
Like your sweet 16.
Happy birthday. Right? And I'm
Yeah.
like, stop. Thanks, guys. Thanks. And I was
Thank you.
in my locker and the whole bunch of people around me.
And then here comes your construction worker dad.
And all of a sudden, out of the corner of my eye, I saw my dad
That feeling.
barreling down the hallway
Yeah.
with like a look of like
You're dead.
sheer terror.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And I literally and when I say that he yanked me
Yanked
me
you.
out of that group of people, drug me down the hallway, took me into the principal's office and said, I'm removing her from your school system, and walked me to the car. Did not say a word to me. And when my mom worked at a bank, he drove through the drive-thru because she was working the window that day.
That's how I feel like a lot of communication with your mother was through the drive-thru at work.
Yeah. And he literally in the window, like the microphone.
Yeah.
Like, how can I help you today, sir? I removed her from school, figure it out, and just sped out of the parking lot.
Yeah. Yeah, your actions required that. But this is the thing, is your dad, that had to be incredibly hard for him to do because he always held education in such a high regard. Your dad coming down the hall, pulling you out on your Sweet 16 and making a decision that they felt they couldn't do probably days before.
Yeah.
You know, obviously they'd probably discussed it before, but once, what it was, that a truancy letter or something like that
Correct.
that he got?
Yeah.
And he held education in such a high regard that probably broke that man to make a decision to yank you out of school, especially after the successes of your sister and your other brothers with their educations. And so for him, that was like a line in the sand.
Yeah.
But then God aligned everything, and your sister-in-law stepped up. Somebody else that was a friend of our family in the church stepped up, and then you both ended up homeschooling together.
Were you already a homeschooler when it happened with me?
She had just went through being singled out in a Christian private school
That was
they
after a little bit.
paid a bunch of money for.
That was the year after. But I was in a public school. So when I went into middle school, I was in a public school that was like, I wasn't around like the naughty kids. Like all the kids that I was around and that went to that school were like, they would do the turkey trot with their family. Like they were runners and
athletes.
yeah, and mathletes. Like they were really smart, and then like everybody was like, they were excited about school and they liked to be there. And like
Yeah.
everybody, they live on the side of town where like even today, if you were to drive in that side of town, like everybody's out walking with their families and their dogs.
Yeah, they're golden retrievers.
They're riding bikes and like, you know, the parents are like
Even-
doctors and lawyers and
Right.
Even the troubled kids are like home for dinner.
yeah. And like it was a really wholesome atmosphere. And so that was 6th grade, like when I went into middle school. And then my parents bought a house and we moved back to the town where I went to grade school. So like I knew kids though, because like I had gone to grade school and like all those kids were really close knit. I'm still friends with some of them. Like if I see them today, we still talk,
Which is wild.
give each other a hug.
Yeah.
Like we're all friends on Facebook, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And I went back and it was like a bomb went off. I still knew everybody, but it was like went down the wrong tube. It was like everybody was promiscuous. We were 12 and 13, and like they were all doing drugs. Like I remember very specifically being in the 7th grade locker room, like after gym class, and I had all the same teachers as you and Brian had like years before, and even the gym teachers. Like we still can reminisce and compare notes because it was all the same teachers. But we were in the locker room, and one of the girls, we were 12 and 13, turned around and said, "Do you think it's too much if I've slept with 7 guys?"
At only 12.
That's Jasmine's age. I can't even like, first of all, and like the guys were like 17, 18, 19 years old. Okay. So, like, beyond it being illegal, like, these girls were victims of inappropriate advances and had no idea. Like, they literally thought it was affection and love.
Well, and in that geographic area, that was so normal that those girls may have even advanced some of those men.
100%.
You know, that's the crazy part is like,
Yeah.
like I can't imagine my daughter being able to make that decision at her age.
I know. And
But I ran around with girls
who were like that.
when I went to that school. That's where things started getting really bad for me. Like that people are like, how did you go to school drunk? You didn't go to school where I went to. Like,
Yeah,
it's
it was
pretty
possible.
easy.
Yeah. And like there were girls 12 and 13 years old that like were pregnant or had abortions.
My female friends at that school, in like junior high, would keep hairspray bottles full of vodka
Yeah.
in their lockers, and we'd be able to go to their lockers in between classes, and you can't smell vodka.
This is the weirdest.
Yeah,
I know.
When I got
Well-
pulled from that school, I got asked to leave kindly.
Pastor Tim did a little Bob situation, pulled him out.
Well, I got asked to leave before
Yeah.
that, and then they were working it out to see where I could go. But then, boom, they pulled in as soon as they had a kind offer. I ended up going to Eau Claire, and that was probably the best thing that could have happened to me.
Right. Eau Claire was like 100% better.
Oh yeah,
And like the kids, the boys that I was like, I had known my whole life at this point, like one of them in the middle of lunch hour got arrested. Like the police raided the school and arrested him and like 5 other kids, 12 and 13 years old, for dealing drugs.
That's so
like hard
crazy.
drugs. Yeah. So that situation grieved me so badly that like I didn't want to be there.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be there because I had been taken out of a place that like everybody was on the same page. You know, they still had their own problems later on, like in high school.
Yeah.
But like for the most part, everybody, do you want to know maybe not hilarious, but the interesting part is all of my friends that from my like wholesome school, all of them that ended up encountering drugs and craziness is because they got to know Joe's friends.
Oh no.
Literally. Like to this day, they can attribute like there's people that have like overdosed and passed away and everything. And it's like once they got hooked up with that group of people, not you
Right,
weren't
yeah.
around, but once they got hooked up with that group of people, it was all downhill from there.
It shows you though, I mean, even just our 3 examples, I get it that there's some people that love school and
I love school.
you know what I mean though?
I
And
keep
then
going
they
back.
hit the books and they don't
Yeah.
try to get
When-
entangled. But this stuff's like, if you get with the wrong crowd, it goes down quickly. for kids.
when I got to leave the Chippewa Falls School District,
Oh, he's name dropping.
I will.
He's name dropping.
No, like I have teachers that are so thankful that
You're not there
I
anymore.
have a testimony. Yeah, that too.
It was Chippewa was the bad, but they're known to be bad. Yeah.
When I was leaving that school district, at that time, they still had the freshmen in the middle school. So they were like the upperclassmen of the school, right? So it was like middle
through ninth
middle of
grade?
my freshman year. We were the oldest kids in school. I was about to get my driver's license because I'm a December birthday. So I was about to get my driver's license. And so things were really good for me. Like I had a lot of friends in the high school. I had like kind of a good place in popularity because Chippewa was very segregated. Like if your parents worked at the same factory and camped at the same campground, those kids usually hung out together. I could jump from crowd to crowd. When that happened, I was like immediately like, oh no, I'm going to go to this bigger school in Eau Claire. I know nobody. I knew two people, both of which didn't really attend school. They just lived on that side of town and were supposed to attend that school, but they were both younger siblings of friends of my older brothers who, like, these people, their parents moved them here from, like, Chicago to pull them from the throes of gang violence, right? Mm-hmm. So I knew a couple of kids that were younger that barely attended. Like, they were, it was few, I think I seen both of them there like 3 times. And immediately they threw shade on my fresh start because you almost didn't want to be associated with these people, because immediately then they let people know, like, oh, this guy, his brothers are this guy and this guy. They're bad news, you know, but like they looked at it as a good thing. Wasn't good for me. One of my best friends in the school I was leaving, who was like a great friend, but also a big part in why I was leaving the school, because it was very easy to get in trouble together. He actually, like, as I was going, we were on the phone one night and I was like, yeah, they finally decided I'm going to go to this school in Eau Claire. He's like, oh, I got a cousin there. You can just, this is my cousin. You can hook up with him and they'll take care of you. And this guy, his family was on like the show on History Channel, Gangland. Jeez. Because they brought a gang from Fresno, California to Eau Claire, and his older brother had done like a big shooting at a soccer park in St. Paul. So I'm like learning from this guy, like, hey, this is the guy. You can hook up with this guy and at least you'll have like homeboys, right?
I was in band.
So I get there. No. This turns out really good.
I was not this type of kid.
I get there. I don't know anybody, right? But there's the Asian group of friends, like they're kind of a group. Mm-hmm. And like, I know my buddy said, you know, find this dude. So I went up and I just started asking people. I'm like, my buddy, this guy told me to ask for this guy, and all of a sudden, like, this kid who was like a valedictorian, his cousin is like straight A student, like in debate, like he was like bilingual, planned every summer to go to Thailand with his grandpa. You know, like this guy was going to save the world. He was just a great guy. So I actually ended up spending my first year when I went to Eau Claire with like the biggest group of like the mathletes and
nerds.
Yeah. Like
the best place to be.
And like it was a bunch of Asian dudes, and they didn't.
It always is.
They didn't like just eat lunch in the commons. We had off-campus lunch. We could go to Taco John's. We could go
Taco
to
John's
Jimmy
is
John's.
Right down the street. Taco John's is regional, but it's just like it sounds. Taco
But there's
John's.
like in that school, there's one big main stairwell with like 2 landings. Mm-hmm. So we'd all just go up in the stairwells and like we'd eat lunch, and they'd do flashcards with each other. We're in high school, and these guys are like quizzing each other on like trig.
Incredible.
And I'm just like, I don't even like. Are they speaking Laotian right now, or are they talking about math? Because I've never heard these words in my life, you know. But it turned out to be a really good thing, because it pulled me. Now, in order for me to access the troubled people, I had to do it outside of school.
Okay.
It took until my junior year before I actually started getting it with like a lot of like the throwing chili cheese burritos at people and stuff. That took a while for me to get that group together when I moved to.
That's incredible.
When I moved to Eau Claire.
I mean, I got involved in shenanigans like perhaps throwing burritos at people. Not exactly, but
Were you with him?
no.
my
But like that
goodness.
level of foolishness. Sure. Well, then
Like taking deer.
Well, I got to,
So, like-
birds.
I begged to get taken out of school. And my mom was like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
And that's when the lady that helped both of us, she was like, I already homeschool my kids. I have a son that's a 2 year, he's your age. So 2 years ahead of me. And like she had all the books, she had all the stuff. And then she could use the help with her two younger kids.
Yeah,
so
that
then,
guy's like, he's a pastor.
He was
yeah, he's your age.
was he homeschooled?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where was he when we were
Well, he was until high school, and then he went to the good high school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
The one that,
Yeah, they all did that.
yeah.
Kinda.
And it was so that they could participate in like extracurriculars
Sports,
and
soccer.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then I went to a Christian high school, which is what Joe was talking about, like a couple years later. And you actually toured that school as like
remember.
considering perhaps going there. But I only lasted 1 year there because we were fundamentally different in our beliefs.
Yeah, it was
If you
Baptist
go
based, and you
to
were
a-
coming from a spirit
If
filled.
you believe differently than the Christian school that you're choosing for your child to go to, it's never going to turn out well.
Yeah, we
No.
did that with Max.
No, like
It's
denominations
uncomfortable.
Are two different. Yeah.
And it went pretty far. Like my mom and you, like you guys are ordained, you know, my mom's ordained. And at the time, being a freshman in high school, going to that high school, like there was a Bible class that was like just dedicated to covering why women should not be in the pulpit. It was like very direct.
Yeah.
And like
And you have like a mother pastor.
I did have a mother pastor.
Yeah.
Sounds like a cuss a little bit, but I still do. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it was just like, it was just not a good fit. So then I homeschooled after that, and then I kind of finished early, so to speak. What did I do with that time? I'm glad you asked. Nothing. I have nothing to show for it. But I taught piano lessons and worked in our music store. But
Do you want to know what's interesting though?
what?
Is I don't talk to when I got removed from my school when I was a sophomore, my parents banned communication
Yeah.
because I did get into the wrong crowd. And honestly, that did it. As an adult now, that did save my life like 1,000%. Occasionally, like after everything died down with like my parents and the drama, and I was graduating and that kind of stuff, like a couple kind of rekindled a little bit, you know, but nothing. It was too already lost. It was too lost already.
There's
Yeah.
been several, like she's still got like some of these people on social media. So there's been several that like they would see her post about our business. So they'd call, like probably thinking they're going to get like some friend discount or something. All they got was me in their house trying to lead them to the Lord.
There you go.
So we've had a few like good runs with that.
Yeah.
You know, for me, I got to like reinvent myself a little bit, and that was cool. But definitely when it comes to, you know, topics like this, if you're thinking about homeschooling, thinking about pulling your children out of school, maybe sticking them in a Christian school, that point that Heidi made, fundamentally, or your core values really have to line up. Because we ended up in a situation where we put Max in a Lutheran school, and it was Missouri Senate. One thing I did like, I met with like the leadership there and the pastors, was like they knew scripture.
Yeah.
I had a conversation with them. I was like, when do you start indoctrinating the children? Like, when does it shift from like
ABCs.
from Bible
Or even like
stories,
the stories of Genesis to like,
yeah, to
Like we believe this. And we
this
do not
is why we
this,
believe
and
this,
stuff.
and this is what makes us a good Lutheran.
yeah.
Was the person that class that you were talking about, was he a pastor? Mm-hmm. Okay, so here's the deal with like going to Christian schools that you don't have the same denomination as. Max was in kindergarten, totally fine, a normal teacher, like just a work there teacher.
Loved him. We still run into her in public, and she's still like, "How's Max?"
First grade, he got the pastor's wife as a teacher. So it was like in your situation, both of them were like pastoral staff, where like it went south, where like if you don't believe what we believe,
Yeah.
we're gonna.
Well, and with Max's situation, I had sat down. I was like even, I was even giving like pro bono carpet cleanings to like his teacher's class, and like
Right.
just really we were trying to be a blessing. We were like the only people with a kid in that class that paid tuition, because the rest were all members of the church. But that was one of those situations where they assured me, like 8th grade, like he can go here till 8th grade before we really start pushing our doctrine or our belief systems and structures. And we were okay with that. But Max had an encounter. Was that first grade or second grade? First grade. He had an encounter with the Holy Spirit. And it was like a weeknight prayer service, and he prayed through. Mm-hmm. So he had gotten his own personal gift of speaking in other tongues.
His prayer language.
And we were like super excited. The next morning, he gets to school, and the teacher asked him to open the class in prayer. Everything had been fine up to this moment. And he starts praying and then starts speaking in other tongues. And it did not go over well. And this lady decided to let him know
Probably
that
freaked her out, honestly.
his parents, it probably freaked every devil in her out.
And she said, like, we don't believe in that. We don't do that. That's not real. Well, then Maximus.
Well, she said, your parents are of the devil, and I'm going to help you become a good Lutheran.
But Max has always been a black and white person.
Yeah.
He doesn't do well with sarcasm. It's truth or
It's not
or it's
like
lie.
subtlety. Yeah.
Like, that's just his personality. And so when she was saying it's not real, he's like, yes, it is. And they got in like a debate
He's like
with
7.
this first grader.
Yeah.
And then he came home and questioned us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, is what we believe real or is it not? I went back in and like I demanded a meeting with the principal and
And the teacher.
they were so good. She never was in that meeting.
No.
She wouldn't.
No.
But we sat down and I said, this is unacceptable. I mean, we're paying a lot of money and this child is so young,
Yeah.
right? To tell him that his parents are of devils, that's crazy.
I feel like that's crazy language even for them.
Well, nowadays that would be a lawsuit. But
Right.
like we wouldn't have done that anyway.
No.
But the principal ended up calling me personally and said, hey, can he, because after that, she started like keeping him in on recess, targeting him. His reading went downhill. It was like ugly. And I said, we're going to pull this child out of the school. And he's like, can't he just make it through this year? She's supposed to retire next year. I'm like, who is this woman and why are you afraid of her? Like, why won't she meet? And he goes, that's senior pastor's wife. We're not going to mess with her. And I was like, all right, well, we're out.
Yeah. That's
So
crazy.
you have to make sure that it's just like when people pick a church. You don't pick a church. You go and you allow God to speak to you. And if you are supposed to be there, you'll know.
Yeah,
You'll know. You'll know even more because all of a sudden when things preached from that pulpit start to uproot things and make things uncomfortable that need to leave your life, you'll feel like you're supposed to get out of there quick. And that place you called home 3 weeks ago will feel like the place you can't ever go to again. That's a good indication that God's working mightily in your life to get rid of things that have been camped out and occupied for a long time. Yeah. We see that a lot. I've been around church for 44 years. I've seen a lot of people bail on the exact place they're supposed to be to get help. So you'll know, and when it comes to dealing with, educating your child, we've learned the hard way. You have to have people that believe in the things you believe.
Yeah. I will say, Cedric's experience at a Catholic school saved his life.
Yeah.
But he was also going to Chippewa, just like us.
And he wasn't.
And he didn't really have.
He wasn't
church.
being. Yeah,
he didn't
wasn't
have to
being raised
participate
go to
in
church.
that too. But
Yeah.
he also wasn't like forced to participate in like certain, things. But the structure
Yeah.
to this day, he is like, I want my kids to wear school uniforms. It made all the difference to have that structure. Like, that's the exact type of thing. Keep in mind, I have sociology background, that like the people that are repeat offenders and like it's the dumbest thing. Like people that go to prison repeatedly for like burglary. They're seeking that. They're seeking structure,
Routine.
predictability, routine, 3 square meals a day, a place to lay my head, a uniform. I don't have to make the decision. It's made for me. They're seeking that.
People in like the Navy.
Yeah.
Like,
Some
that's
people go to
good for
prison.
them.
Some people go into the military.
Yeah.
Some people go into both. But they're seeking that.
When we went to that school that he got saved out of, by going to a private school, one of the things that, like, we did okay. Like, our parents weren't rich, but they also didn't make us like a target, like there was a time where my mom might have made me wear some like Pro Wing 2000s while everybody else had Jordans, but I had personality.
I'm going to tell you right now, our experiences were so different in
I had
this
some
area.
LA Gear pumps,
Because
man.
my mother feathered my hair. My mother dressed me
How she would have.
how she would have dressed.
You're gonna get a beautiful jacket with
Yeah.
shoulder pads.
Wear the pearl necklace.
When you do this,
The
you're
shoulder
gonna have to
pads.
do a couple of school photos.
I'm gonna.
Oh, man.
There was a school photo that I wore a matching blouse, built-in vest,
Blouse,
and
shoulder pads.
no shoulder pads. But it had matching shorts. I love that outfit so much. I wore it 2 years in a row for pictures
On picture day.
On picture day.
Well, in that school, you could have like been driven to just self-hatred over what you wore. So for
Yeah.
him to go to a school where that just couldn't happen because you all had to wear the same thing, that was great for him.
I will say, when I got to middle school, I went to grade school at Stilson Go Stingers. Okay. And I'll insert a photo here of me wearing my Stilson Stingers shirt and my knock knees and my yellow shorts, my LA Gear. They had the fin on the side and I could switch the color.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
They were awesome
Sick.
shoes.
Sick.
They had a Velcro strap across the tongue.
Now, in middle school, I dressed like a chola. I looked like I was gonna,
You just needed some hoop earrings.
I was wearing men's basketball shorts and plain white t-shirts, and Fila Grant Hill tennis shoes.
There was a little influence, a little gangsta influence there. You know,
Probably from your brothers.
1,000%. I wore navy green Mac jeans.
Jasmine and I last night we ran to get some stuff at Menards, and we were coming back and we stopped.
Army green, not navy green. Shut up. Nobody helped me there.
We stopped to get a takeout order,
Yeah.
and Jasmine goes, "What was your most embarrassing moment in high school?" And I was like, I didn't have a lot of embarrassing moments. Like I fared pretty well in high school.
He did. It's really annoying.
But when I got that moment, that chance to reinvent myself and go to like a school that was like more,
You're like, I'm gonna have a British accent.
I wish. No,
That would have been so funny.
Jasmine had a kid in her school do that.
I didn't like date.
It wasn't British though. It was like from France. Like
Really?
Paris. Like bonjour.
Just say the thing.
So that kid, he said it 3 years in a row he's been doing that because the first time he went to the school, he was being funny and did it. And then like his friends said, I dare you to do it for 3 years in a row.
Oh, okay.
So he did it.
On a dare.
Yeah.
He was
And-
French on a
and
dare.
his
He's not gonna be
teachers
able to
were
stop.
Like, so are you like? Is this real? Like is like he like
Everybody thought it.
his teachers were like,
Was
"Are
he
you
like,
really from here?"
like, that's so funny.
1000%.
Yeah, and he turned on his camera one day.
You can't
That's
see
when we
Jasmine.
asked-
She's locked in, dead serious.
He turned on his camera one day, and
Was he
that's
wearing
when
a
we found
beret?
Out, and that's when we asked. Guess what? He's wearing hunting stuff
Hunting stuff.
with deers in his background and shotguns on his wall.
Unbelievable. So he's a sportsman. I would have thought when he turned his camera on, he would have been like eating a baguette.
He was a master of disguise.
He would have been in a black and white striped t-shirt with like a scarf around his neck and a beret. Be doing this. What'd you reinvent yourself as? The wheel?
No, I hung out with like good people that
Yeah.
that had a dream.
I didn't hear anything embarrassing yet.
No,
Yeah,
I was
I'm
getting
waiting.
to that.
Okay.
So I didn't
He's like,
date in high school. I didn't like have like a bunch of girlfriends or anything. I hung around with a lot of girls.
he was friend zoned a little bit.
But yeah, probably a lot of it. But I also couldn't read women because weird things happened to me as a kid. So like,
Yeah.
kind of threw me off in that department.
Right.
I wasn't like out there asking girls to prom. But there was this girl. Every day she was like 4 lockers down, and this is a big high school. This is like the kind they made 90s movies about.
Yeah.
Like,
Early 2000s.
yeah, she's all that.
Kiss me
Yeah.
out in the beaver dam nightly between the green grass. I don't even know if the words are right.
Swing, swing.
On the sentence and wear the shoes and I will wear that dress.
Kiss me.
Yeah. So like
That's so funny.
I went to one of those high schools, like where the popular guy was the show choir kid whose dad was a doctor, This girl smiled at me like every day. And like finally I was like, man,
His heart went pitter patter.
I'm like, I've never had somebody pay this much attention to me. And I'm like, I actually hang around with all these popular girls, but this girl like smiled at me every day. So I finally I go up and I just start talking. And she is so quiet. And then I got panicked. So I talked more and probably faster. And like now I'm just like telling her about like my first dog and all this stuff.
Yes,
and she's
ma'am.
just smiling at me. And I'm like, this is horrible. And I'm probably beet red. And all of a sudden her friend comes up. They turn to each other and start doing sign language. And I was like, I just gave my whole life story.
First of all, she could probably read
I was
lips.
gonna
To a
say,
girl.
most people that are deaf can read lips.
Probably. Maybe it was just a deterrent to get rid of me. I don't know. She was actually deaf though.
How did it end?
I walked off and I never tried to talk to her again.
Your cheeks are red right now, thinking about it.
It was bad. And Jasmine goes, you didn't like try and talk to her again? And
You
I was
didn't
like,
go home like the kid in the movie and learn sign language
no.
so that you
She
could talk
said,
to her?
you should have came to me because I would have taught you sign language. I was like,
You weren't even a thought.
if I would have talked to that girl anymore, what if I would have ended up married, Jasmine? You wouldn't even be here.
I love that she's like, you should have came to me and talked to that lady.
I was like, what if that would have been like a high school sweetheart thing and we would have got
know.
married? I wouldn't even have these kids in this life.
Oh man.
Yeah, that was life altering for me. I was like, I will never talk to a woman again.
He did. Spoiler alert, he did.
Yeah.
I had many embarrassing moments. It's hard to name just one. I had genuinely so many. In grade school, I was on the bouncy ball with the handle on it, and I was like, watch this, and jumped and slammed down, lost grip, broke my tailbone on the gym floor. Farted doing sit-ups and blamed it on my shoes. It was so funny. I was like, those my shoes. And Shane Brown and Tyler Schlichter shout out. They were like, do it again then. Make your shoes do that again. And I was like, Shut up. You make your shoes
They were
for, idiot.
They were like the popular boys in class too.
They were, still are. And you know what? If I saw Shane today, he would walk up and give me a hug. I saw him not that long ago at Ray's Beach. And he was like, hey,
Yeah,
how's
hug,
it going?
And then you,
Yeah. Yeah. Unreal.
my shoes are still doing it.
My very best friends in grade school were Shane Brown and Kyle Keegan, and shout out. And Kyle is a very successful drummer, like travels all over the world with like famous musicians being their drummer.
That's crazy.
And we had cartoon club after school.
Yeah.
Yeah, they would, I mean, name it. And it happened to me. Burnt my butt cheeks on the metal slide. You know the exact slide.
Yep.
It's still there.
Yeah, it's still awful.
It's still there.
It's not only still there, but I think when Max was little, we went there and I tried to go down it and like realized it's not as wide as I remember.
Absolutely not. And when I tell you, it's not, I didn't burn my cheeks because of friction. It was metal and it was baking in the hot sun all day long. And I went down and my shorts came up and I burnt my butt cheeks.
Tell me this.
Because it burnt off.
Yeah.
Like I went through life because of that school thinking that people that were managing the playground were called
Duties.
And
Guess what?
They would call each other the duty because they were on
duty.
So like when I got to a different school.
What'd they call them? An aide.
Yeah. I'm like, did you ever get in trouble with the duties at recess?
Everybody thought, they were like, that's poop.
They're like, oh my gosh, this guy.
Duty. This kid just go to the principal's office. You just called me Duty.
Yeah.
Did you guys ever have like a bridge on your playground? Like
No.
a wooden
We had we had an eagle's
sled.
nest.
So
We had a merry-go-round.
there was this bridge
Yeah.
that was like wood slats.
Yeah.
Right? So kids would go on one end and one person would go on the other side and they would jump on it and it would fling people up in the air.
They wouldn't let us have one of those. Somebody would
I
have
fully
got killed.
hyperextended my knee.
Did you?
100%.
So sorry that happened.
Thought I was going to die. When you get hurt as an elementary kid,
Yeah.
you act like nothing's wrong.
Yes, you do.
You just like walk it
And you're
off.
like, your eyes are watering
Yeah.
and your finger is pointing the wrong direction. And people are like, are you all right?
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, no, I'm fine. I do this all the time, actually. I do this all the time, actually.
My brother did this twice.
Yeah. Yeah. This is totally fine.
yeah. What this tripod?
I
thing
gotta
with
go to the
monkey
bathroom.
Bars, it goes in threes. You know what I'm talking about? Has 3 bars down the center.
Sure.
It was winter. It's fully ice. So who's gonna skate around that sucker? That pole?
You?
Right? Me. And I'm doing it.
We lived such different lives.
And I fell, and my legs went apart, and that pole went between my legs.
Yeah.
Nope. I literally, I sat there for a while.
That's so funny.
Like, it was so bad.
Yeah. I was the girl in middle school that I had a knee brace. I was in band.
Like
and
on the outside of your jeans.
Yeah.
Sorry.
In the summer, I would
just gotta tighten my brace.
my immobilizer. The sweat. I had to leave class 5 minutes early so I could get on crutches, and I wasn't swinging on crutches. But I got to use the elevator, and I was walking on crutches. And I had to leave 5 minutes early, and then I had a friend who would carry my backpack.
They would assign somebody to
They
carry
absolutely
your
did.
backpack of yours.
And people would be like, "Can I carry your backpack today?" I'd be like, "Shut up! No, it's Kristen's day."
Yeah, because they'd get
I
out
already
of
promised her.
they'd get out of class for like 3 minutes early to get to the next
They would.
class. Yeah.
Yep. I mean, the list goes on. I will say also, going from Chippewa to Eau Claire, my life was turned upside down.
Completely.
All of my I had all female teachers and male gym teachers in Chippewa. I go to Eau Claire, opposite. I had a male teacher, female gym teacher. Unreal.
Like our world got turned up. Like our parents, Like my mom switched careers. Like everything was different. We went from like a mom who was home canning food, doing like homemaker stuff to like
She's working full time.
big business plus running church. Now all of a sudden dad was like,
I was a latchkey kid.
yeah.
And
I rode the city bus.
I rode the city
We
bus.
didn't even know there was city buses when I lived in Chippewa.
We were rural, kind of.
Yeah.
But we moved to Eau Claire, and first of all, my grade school was like 120 years old.
Full of asbestos and lead paint.
And I literally, I rode the city. First of all, I started walking to school, and then I was a crossing guard at like
Yep.
4 o'clock in the morning. It felt
Nobody
like
knows
28
that kind of
below
power
zero.
until you've been one.
Yep. And then I would ride the city bus all over at Jasmine's age, 11, 12 years
Yeah.
old. I was like, I had a bus pass.
Yeah.
And I would
Hey,
just,
let's go to the mall.
yep. I would go to London Square Mall.
You like knew, like you could take
I could go to the transfer station.
the McCarthy and Malls bus.
MacArthur.
Or MacArthur and
This
Malls
guy.
bus. Yeah, it's been a while.
Okay, Grandpa. Forgot.
So you'd be able to jump on
Margaret
you'd
and Malls.
get on, ask for a transfer slip.
Yeah.
Because you'd have to go down to the station, transfer
I'm for
buses.
sure a helicopter homeschool mom then because Jasmine's scared to go to the mailbox.
That's so funny. Yeah, she is.
It's true.
My mom would leave me bus money on the table.
They were riding city buses by themselves.
I was. Hey, get this. What grade are you in?
Walk away in Walmart for 1 second and you freak out.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Well, you might get
Well,
human
Walmart's
trafficked.
sketchy.
What grade are you in?
7.
7th. I strapped my tenor saxophone to the front of my bike, which was Joe's bike that he won at a baseball game, with a bungee cord, and I rode it from Emery Street, a black bungee cord.
Off of our dad's semi truck.
Yeah. I rode it from Emery Street all the way to South Middle School by myself.
Which is like, what,
I don't know.
like 4 or 5 miles?
But that was before, like on the way to and from school. So like 6 o'clock in the morning, I'm like, all right, got my JanSport.
Get
and
past
my-
Nelson's Cheese Factory. Now I'm good because I'm halfway.
Yeah. Got to get over Brackett. And if I can get down Rudolph, I'm smooth sailing. Okay. Yeah. I was on time for school. Yep.
Actually, you had a better chance being late riding the city bus to school than just
100%, which I had to do in the winter because I would not ride the school bus. I have very bad experiences on the school bus. I would go to public school all over again as long as I didn't have to ride the school bus. That was the epitome of hell.
I agree.
But before I got to middle school, I will say in 5th grade, this is my one embarrassing story that will really just send ya. We had an all-school track and field meet one day a year. Okay?
You were 5th grade, so you were 10.
Yeah. I was a September birthday. I was a 40-year-old woman amongst other 10-year-olds. I mean, I got old quick. You know what I mean? So we show up. I'm athletic, as you well know. And what did we have? Like 50-yard dash, 100-yard dash. Okay. We had a tug of war.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And we practiced. So I was feeling it. I was feeling
Like,
confident.
you're ready.
Yep. I was wearing Mickey Mouse shorts that were black on one side, red on the other. Clearly my athletic shoes. And like a plain white t-shirt. I lived in plain white t-shirts and Wu-Tang Clan hoodies, which I stole from my brothers.
Yeah.
Which
Who
they
probably
stole from
stole from a
some
store.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
disc
Literally.
jockey
Yeah.
in the mall.
So, by the
We
way,
don't
we're
have
nowhere
those-
near that.
We don't have those.
Because we took like a 20-minute hiatus.
You're good.
Yeah. And so I showed up to the middle school, and every grade school in the city of Eau Claire was there. And it was like the who's who, man. And like, keep in mind, I was with very athletic people. And I was like stretching. Okay. I was the kid that like people would be like, all right, we're playing tag. and the whole group of kids would take off running, like the people that were running from the people that were it.
Yeah.
Okay. And I would be back here running my hardest. But like the people that were it, like passed me running after other people.
Yeah.
I was like, get them. Anyway,
You're always it.
I'm always it. Can never ever catch people.
Can't outrun anybody. That's
Unreal. So I was pumped, but I get performance anxiety. Okay, when it comes to sports. So I was like geared up, ready, lined up for 50-yard dash. You know?
Yeah.
Hands on the ground, butt in the air, waiting for the gun to go off. They were like, and go, with like a cap gun. And I took off like a bat out of you-know-where. All gas, no brakes. Okay. I was in last place, but I was running my guts out. Literally. I took off running and I had nervous bubble guts all the way there. Okay. I took off running, and when I tell you I filled my pants. Heidi's like semi off camera right now. She's crying. It was for 50 yards. I didn't even place top 5. I didn't even place top 5. But you know what I did do? I got to the finish line and I kept running. Because there was 4 porta potties in the middle of the soccer field. And I ran directly to the bathroom and I had to take my underwear off and throw them in the garbage. Imagine going the rest of track and field day. Commando. Then we did tug of war. And I was the anchor. Which is what every girl wants to hear. And I was so deeply confident. Okay. I was like, I am representing Boyd Elementary. And I dug my heels in. But keep in mind, I was still very hyper aware that I was not wearing underwear.
Same day.
Same day.
Track and field day was a day.
It was one day.
Like you're talking the culmination of the
Yeah.
presidential fitness test. This comes down to everything that you are and that
This
you've been
was
created
the
to
pride of our school rode on this very moment.
be. Yeah.
So it was like our team against another team.
You got medals.
I was the anchor for tug of war.
Yeah.
Okay. And I was so truly deeply confident because I was like, I had already beat all the boys.
Well, you were taller than you were tall for your
I was
age.
like a 40-year-old woman.
You
I
had
have
the-
not grown.
You had the vested shirt to prove it.
I have not grown. I've been this same height and shoe size and everything since then. So
Same. 5th grade. 5th grade.
yeah, I
was
beat
the same.
every boy in my school. So I was like, like cracking my neck as I walked up, like shoulder checking people.
Yeah.
They were like, and go. And I was dragged so quickly. The people in front of me, because I was the anchor, they were like, Paul! Like they were screaming. They were like, no! It was carnage and mayhem. It was a bloodbath. We so quickly got pulled across the center line. It was like it didn't even happen.
Everybody was just crushed.
We were shocked and dismayed. I cried the entire night.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
About losing tug of war?
sure did.
Dang.
I was like, I can't show my face at that school anymore. I had forgotten that I pooped my pants.
I was gonna say it wasn't the poop in the pants.
It wasn't that.
It was the
Because
tug of
nobody
war.
was aware of the pooping of the pants except me.
This is the thing. Somebody at that age with all the knowledge that they have usually will think something like, I'm going to go compete today. I should eat like a big bowl of, like a good breakfast, big bowl of oatmeal, the leftover Rocket Rococo's
There's a good
greasy
chance
pizza from last.
I got like for my whole breakfast was like French toast sticks from Burger King.
Like deep fried.
We lived by Burger King, and it could have been a croissant
I'll just
sandwich.
like some hash browns and some French toast sticks
Yeah,
and chocolate milk and a coffee, which will make you poop.
I was never a chocolate milker. I was definitely orange juice. Tropicana.
That's what did it.
And you
Yeah.
put your straw on the side of the
Yep.
paper bottle. But to this day, I see people that I went to grade school with, and nobody even mentions the fact that I pooped my pants or lost tug of war for the entire school.
Remember
But
that, kids. It's not the rest of your life.
if I could give anybody advice for anything,
Only the cool kids poop their pants.
only the cool kids go on to play flute and band and then get promoted to tenor saxophone. Only the cool kids ride city bus and then eventually get homeschooled. But everything at that time in my life felt so permanent.
Oh, for sure.
I also was a late bloomer when it came to like dating. I never had like a little boyfriend
Didn't either.
in like middle school, high school.
Neither.
I wasn't kissing anybody.
Nope.
You know, I wasn't holding hands. Nobody showed romantic interest in me that I was aware of at that time. Later on, I was like, I think that person kind of liked me. But at the time, I was dense. But you live through it.
Yeah.
And it's so heartbreaking when you see kids off themselves and like commit suicide in middle school or high school, because it's like, oh my God, it's a blink of an eye.
But in that moment, like you said, when we were that age, you thought that was your forever.
And you thought, oh, my parents don't get it.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk to the kids because you're a grown up and I'm not. I am a kid at heart. Actually, Cedric was like, we're going to be the same age this year because I'm forever stuck at a certain age in my nieces and nephews' minds. But let me tell you this. First of all, it is 100% okay. And I would encourage it wholeheartedly to get close to your teachers and find favor with them. Not in like a weird, inappropriate way, but like it is a-okay to do your best and like try to do your best and ask for help and honor your teachers, and in turn they will show favor to you. That same skill will follow you through life in being able to humble yourself and honor your boss, your parents.
Your
You'll be honored for that. God will honor that, and you'll get favor in the hearts of your teachers and principals and the people in leadership at your school. Read books, do art, participate in band, music. The cool kids may not, but you will be an infinitely more interesting person as an adult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is the best thing you can do to invest in your own intellectual self. And like, it doesn't matter what the cool kids are doing. In fact, I get really fired up about this. I would argue that it makes you cooler to be the kid that can, read all the books and do all the math assignments and speak 2 languages or 3, and actually invest your time and effort into school and learning and coming out a much intellectually richer person.
Yeah. Right.
Anytime you deny what God gave you as a gift to come down to the level of others, you're not helpful.
Right.
You can't help anybody.
Yeah.
Even when you have to hire them later in life because you've excelled, they're not going to have a good respect for you because they're going to be like, this kid was just as dumb as I was in school. In Proverbs 18, verse 15 and 16, the mind of the prudent is ever getting knowledge, and the ear of the wise is ever seeking, inquiring, and craving knowledge. A man's gift makes room for him and brings him before great men. So if you want to do great things and you want to be a person that God can call into rooms of presidents, kings, people with great leadership or influence, you have to always acquire knowledge. You have to know something about something. As long as you're always seeking wisdom. God said, if you ask for wisdom, you lack in that, you ask for it, he'll freely give it. He'll freely give you wisdom. A lot of times what he does is he puts you in a situation where you have to learn and you have to adapt and you have to use your creative ability. You are made in God's image and likeness. He is the same yesterday, today, and forever. He is a creator. You're made in his image. You have creative ability. That's something that the forces of darkness do not have. They have the same old tricks, the same old lies that they've always had. We, as sons and daughters of the Most High God, we have creative ability. Our hands can make things. We can speak to mountains and say, be removed and cast into the depths of the sea. So when you seek out wisdom and you build your foundation upon the rock and the knowledge of who Christ is and that he died for everybody standing in front of you, that shifts your confidence. I always loved it because Todd White, he'd always say, I don't have confidence, I have Godfidence, because his confidence came through who he was in Christ Jesus. And that's kind of how we all have to be. And the earlier you can get it in life.
And he always said, like, if he accepted me, who can reject me?
Right.
Yeah, if I'm accepted
That's
by
a good
God,
mindset
then
for a
who can
child
read?
to
Yeah.
collect.
I will say too, like for parents, I've watched Joe and Heidi get to the end of their rope when it comes to like helping the kids with math and and things like that. And I will say this, when you get to the end of your rope and you feel hopeless, perfect. Not my will, his. Like, rather than enter into strife with your kids and want to beat them because you're like, and what's 2 + 2? They're like, I don't know, 6. And you're like, oh my God, Johnny has 2 apples. Okay. Instead of getting to that point, like, join together in prayer and ask God for supernatural favor and supernatural ability to just get through. And
know when to pull the plug on that parent. Because, like, so for me,
Yeah.
me and Jasmine got into an unhealthy place.
yeah. And it's
that's
better to
when
just
I
like
pulled in resources.
pull in resources.
Yeah.
If you don't, there are resources everywhere. And if you need resources or help finding them, you can email us. Our email is in the bio. And like, I'll personally reply. Because once tensions get so high, like you just can't. But we really have to, like, even with school or schooling or helping your kids with homework or any of these things, you have to keep God at the center. I was just telling Cedric this, because the absence of God at the center, the result is anxiety, strife, the opposite of all the fruit of the Spirit. The absence of God at the center. And what are we really all doing this for? We want to further the kingdom.
Yeah.
And like, that's what we have to have at the center of what we're doing, even if it's school.
That's good.
The enemy wants to do one thing. He wants to take you out of confidence.
Yeah.
If he can make you an unconfident person, you'll never try to help anybody. And you'll never feel what you're worth. You're worth Jesus Christ dying and then being resurrected again to put you in a place of boldness. So when it comes to education on this earth, spiritual knowledge, discipleship, this is all a part of discipleship. We don't prune dead limbs, right? The dead limb's not sucking nutrients from anything. It's already dead. Sure, we break those off. We take care of that while we're pruning. But when we're being pruned, what you're doing is you're looking for the little limbs with buds on them that are going to pull nutrients from the ones that are going to produce big fruit or already producing. You want to send the nutrients to the limb that's producing good fruit. So that's the thing is you have to look at these seasons of grade school, middle school, high school, growing up as seasons of pruning. It's a place where your character, your moral compass is shaped, where we learn who's a natural born called leader and who maybe needs to take a back seat to that. And in the midst of this, understanding, like, stop looking for dead things to cut off. They're already dead. They'll get burned up. They'll get pulled off anyway. Start looking for the unfruitful little things that are already growing, that are still pulling nutrients. If your kids get involved in friendships that are hurting them, you need to pray about that, because that's also a soul that needs to be saved. And it's really easy to jump on the phone and talk to Karen down the street and get a gossip ring going. Hey, can you pray for Johnny? Because Billy's a really bad influence. And this stuff happens at youth group too. I've seen youth group kids just about crucified in front of their peers because of poor choices they've made. But this is still a soul that needs to be saved. So we have to have the compassion of Christ and then the wisdom of God, which he freely gives, to be able to navigate these situations with poise and with honor and with dignity. We want to see people walk away with their dignity.
I would even take it a step further to say, we have to be so careful to not try to live vicariously through our kids, and to try to really hone in on what is God calling them to do, or how can I best support the call that God has on their life. And if that means pulling your kid out of sports because they're not going to play in the NBA anyway, they're not going to get a scholarship,
because they're missing Wednesday
it's
night youth group every week,
taking up valuable resources, and it's stressing your family out, and it's putting a strain on your marriage. Do it. It is okay. Like, you have to evaluate and involve your children in this process of evaluating what is going to further the kingdom here. What does God want for us? What does he have planned for us?
Yeah.
And does this align with his larger call on my life?
Lord, we just thank you for this opportunity to just share silly stories and all that, but also to impart favor and blessing upon those that are watching or listening this, Lord, that you would give them the courage to do what they need to do and the decisions they need to make. But we just pray favor over their journey back into their scholastic year, whether it be in college, continued education, high school, middle school, grade school, whatever it may be that they're going into. Some kids are just going into daycare, Lord. Put protective angels around them, Lord, that would keep them safe, Lord. Give their parents discernment and wisdom, that if there's any wolves among the sheep, that they'll be able to see it and be able to keep their kid from danger. And Lord, we just pray that you put blessing over households, Lord, over the stress of acclimating to the new year and the new curriculum or the new classes, Lord, that you just give everybody peace, Lord, that surpasses all human understanding. And Lord, we just thank you that these are all opportunities to be pruned, to produce more fruit, and to grow in your kingdom. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Thank you so much for joining us for today's episode. We are so blessed to have the privilege to share with you. If you haven't already, please connect with us on Facebook and Instagram. You can find us by searching at The Real King Podcast. That's at THE Real King Podcast. The Real King Podcast is recorded in Eau Claire, Wisconsin. It is hosted by Joe and Heidi King, who are joined each week by Christina Santamaria as a moderator and contributor. It is produced and edited by Joe and Heidi King and Carlos and Christina Santamaria. All content is under copyright and all rights are reserved.